With the release of Avatar Fire and Ash, I was reminded of the existence of Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And although the game was never really on my radar because I had never seen the films, and the game reviews were not the greatest, I recently watched the first two movies and decided to check it out. Now coincidentally with the new movie, they updated the game adding a third-person mode, which is honestly probably the main reason I wanted to play. But anyways, for the Platinum Trophy, this game will take between 50 and 60 hours, with about 15 hours of main story, and a grueling 45 hours of exploring, collecting, and crafting. Luckily, requiring only one playthrough in a 4 out of 10 difficulty, this game isn't much of a challenge gameplay-wise, mostly just mentally during the exploring process.
That's gotta be the last one. Although that's what I've thought about the last, like, 30.
Anyways, getting into the game itself here, the main story is pretty straightforward and nothing crazy, pretty similar to the movies, so I'll cover the main points and missions, but everything else really isn't worth mentioning. So we open up as a child in the Ambassador program, which is school for the Na'vi children, operated by the RDA and mainly John Mercer, who is the main protagonist in this game, and we're introduced to him right away. And as we try to escape the facility, we are intercepted by John, who is infuriated by the children singing their Sarantu song, and ends up shooting and killing Ahari. And we flash forward 8 years where all hell is breaking loose due to an uprising led by Jake Sully, leading to a successful escape this time from the TAP facility, where Alma puts us in a cryopod for our safety. Fast forward once again, this time 16 years later, we wake up to a completely abandoned and destroyed TAP facility, this time as a fully grown Na'vi. And right away with the new third-person mode, we can experience just how smooth and fluid the engine of this game is, and it's only going to get better once we leave this place. So we start our escape from the facility, getting a feel for the movement and controls, before again being stopped by John Mercer, but this time, Solek comes and distracts them, and lets us slip out and finally enter the world of Pandora.
Woo! That's bright.
Now, obviously, story and whatnot aside, you're not going to find many games with a world as beautiful and detailed as Pandora is, and it's almost to the point where it could be the worst story ever, but I would still play just due to this environment. So we immediately find an injured Solek outside the facility where we get our first longbow, which is out of arrows, so we're immediately thrown into the hunting and gathering part of the game, where we use our Na'vi senses to farm arrows and some quick fruit. Then semi-stealthily take out our first RDA soldiers in Pandora, and right after we kill our first mech suit with one hit by targeting a weak spot. We then give Solek healing supplies, and he leads us to base camp to stay out of danger. Now this is one of many camps in this game, and here we can buy and trade gear with vendors, craft gear, cook food, and much more. Here we're also given our signal detection device, which we'll be using throughout the entirety of the game to connect power to places and hack into things with minigames that will get progressively more difficult. And now that we're all settled into the base, we form a plan with the crew and are sent out to destroy our first RDA mining site. These areas are always protected by quite a few guards depending on the site. And with some quick hacking and destroying, we take out our first mining site, bringing life back to Pandora in that specific area. And also making progress towards one of the last trophies that we'll unlock in this entire game, Reclaim Pandora. Then connecting to Awa, we get our first character ability, and with all that out of the way, we are finally to the introduction of the game and can start the main story. So we start off with the RDA attacking our headquarters, where we rush over there to defend the area as much as we possibly can. Here we find our first assault rifle and immediately put it to use against the RDA. Then we meet Atua and find out that we are part of the Sarantu clan that everybody thought were basically extinct. And we finally unlock our first trophy, First Strike, for completing the first main story quest. Hey, First Strike, complete the quest Becoming. So we head to the home tree, which is the main headquarters of the Aranahe clan, one of 3 main clans we come across in this game. We're then given a tour of the tree and craft our first chest guard, giving us Apprentice Crafter. Hey, Apprentice Crafter, craft a weapon or gear piece of superior rarity or higher. Equip that. Now that we're into the story, and I started to free roam a bit and test out the hunting aspect, which I clearly didn't know what I was doing at first.
That thing looks mad, bro.
Then we start our next main story quest, and all main quests have quite a few different missions leading to the final part of the quest, where we'll get a trophy every time. But here we defend E2 and his Ikran Zomi from an RDA attack, and unfortunately his Ikran didn't make it out, but we unlock the RDA shotgun, which is probably my least used weapon in this entire game. Then we unlock our third ancestor skill for Talk to the Ancestors. Hey, Talk to the Ancestors. Unlock 3 ancestor skills. And this is one of my favorite skills in the game that we put to use right away, just ripping these soldiers out of their mech suits. Now, there was quite a bit of exploring done in between the next clips, but it was all just little tasks and all on foot, so it was pretty boring. But probably one of the most important parts of the game here is unlocking your own Ikran so that you can fly around Pandora. So we get our Ikran, naming him Katir, and take him for a little test drive to learn the controls.
This is gonna make the game 20 times easier. Damn, and you can shoot while on it, bro.
Then we team up with an enraged Etua to destroy another RDA drill site, in the process almost losing Etua, who barely makes it out alive, but bringing him back to home tree, we unlock Aranahe Alliance.
Hey, Aranahe Alliance. Complete the quest pushing back.
Next, we travel to the upper plains, which is personally my favorite part of the map, just because it's visually stunning and a very simple to traverse. And here, we're immediately greeted by the second main clan of the game, called the Zeswa, so we get to tame our own dire horse and ride it to their main headquarters, called the Circle. Here we meet a few clan members and learn a bit about the culture, before heading back to the Circle and unlocking Cooking Pot Pro.
Hey, Cooking Pot Pro. Unlock 3 recipes for specialty dishes.
And right after that trophy, we unlock Becoming Na'vi for unlocking 3 skills in each skill tree.
Hey, Becoming Na'vi. Unlock 3 skills in each skill tree.
We then get started on the Zeswa clan's main quest, where we first invade the Hunting Lodge and are introduced to our second main villain, Colonel Harding. And tensions continue to rise as the RDA kill Pascaline and begin to invade more and more of Pandora, and it's time the Zeswa fight back for their land. So we head to the extractor plant, which is the RDA's massive plant operating in the upper plains, and it's unlike anything we've seen to this point when it comes to size. So we begin to wreak havoc through the entire facility, killing soldiers and mechs, and just destroying the plant as a whole. And we make quite the cinematic escape, and the plant crumbles in the RDA retreat. In completing that quest, we unlock our 30th plant in the Hunter's Guide, giving us Great Gatherer,
Unlock 30 Hunter's Guide entries for gatherable plants.
and Stronger Together for the quest itself.
Stronger Together. Complete the quest Combined Forces.
Now at this point, it may not seem like it, but we're pretty far into the main story, so we've gotten some pretty powerful gear compared to what we had at the beginning of the game. So following the last quest, we celebrate the events at our base, but not for long because we get attacked and captured by none other than John Mercer himself. But with the help of our friend Billy, we are able to escape the prison and RDA facility as a whole, taking out lots of guards along the way, and once again make a cinematic escape back into Pandora, with the stakes being slightly higher this time. And for the next trophy, we unlock Wildlife Expert for scanning 20 different animals.
Oh, Wildlife Expert. What does that do? Unlock 20 Hunter's Guide entries for gatherable wildlife?
Then quickly back to the story, where for the last couple missions here, we go to the new Resistance hideout after our previous hideout was destroyed, and we get word of the original TAPCON 1 facility where John Mercer started his school and experiments on the Na'vi children. So we break in, finding lots of terrible things, and files proving that they saw Ahari as a threat because of her intelligence. And of course, nothing can be a smooth mission in this game, because on the way out, we run into 2 Thanators, luckily being able to take care of them, and also taking out a few soldiers on the way out. We then get a look into Alma's memories of the night the RDA invaded the Sarantu clan as she passes away. And after that, we unlock Clearing the Mist.
Clearing the Mist. Complete the quest Revelations.
This takes us to the second to last quest in the main campaign. We start off with Anka in the Great Plains and witness the drill platform Alpha cause a massive earthquake-like destruction of the environment around it. So we head into the rubble to search for any survivors, then into the base to destroy the operation. And as you probably guessed, we destroy more bases and protect more of our people, completing the quest and unlocking Eco Warrior.
Hey, Echo Warrior. Complete the quest Rising Pressure.
Now finally, we are at the last quest in the main campaign. At the next RDA facility, we find our friend Talon, who was in our class in the intro of the game, and find out that he has now sided with Mercer and Harding. So we escape that facility and inform our clan of what's happening and where it's happening, and we devise a plan to take down Mercer and the RDA once and for all. Now Drill Base Omega is the biggest and final base in the game, and our only entrance is underground through dangerous caves. But with everything we've learned, we sneak into the bottom of the base and start taking out soldiers in what is definitely our hardest challenge yet, mainly due to the volume and level of these enemies. Then we once again run into Talon, who this time makes it unclear of what side he truly wants to be on. And in true Avatar fashion, we go on to destroy areas of the base, with cinematic cutscene after cinematic cutscene, all clans together just tearing the RDA apart. But our main goal is to get rid of John Mercer, and we still haven't reached him, so we have to continue moving forward. We end up in the final boss fight area, where we have to prevent the drill charge from activating, all while fighting wave after wave of soldiers and mechs. Then Mercer sends in his personal guard after us, who is a mech that has a ridiculous amount of health and also does tons of damage. But surprisingly, we take him out on our first try and are now in a race to escape the facility before it explodes. And right as we're about to escape, we are captured by Mercer and Talon, But using the Sarentu song from our childhood, we get Talon back on our side, trapping Mercer against the wall and leaving him to die in the explosion of the facility. And we get our final cinematic escape of the game where we are rescued by our Ikron and get to watch the destruction of Drill Base Omega with our clan, and get to celebrate being in control of Pandora once again. This unlocks our reclamation for completing the main story.
Hey, our reclamation. Complete the main campaign.
And now is where the real grind starts, although not nearly as interesting, but about 4 times as long. So we start this grind by targeting Bellsprig plants, which increase our health every time we touch them. And as you've probably noticed, this game has quite a weird map system, making it kind of hard to find certain things. But touching our 20th Bellsprig, we unlock Full Bloom.
Full Bloom. Touch 20 Bellsprigs. Sprigs.
Then we take out our 5th RDA outpost for Hit Them Where It Hurts.
Hit them where it hurts. See that shit?
And touch our 20th Tarsiu sapling for Sprouting Potential.
Hey, Sprouting Potential. Finally, touch 20 Tarsiu saplings.
Next, we move on to our first set of collectibles, being the kites. And luckily, we only have 1 left at this point, so we collect that, giving us tethered kites.
Tethered kites. Collect all windswept kites.
Now, for no easy prey, we encounter our first non-feral Thanator, which is the most dangerous and unique animal in the entire game.
Is this the one thing I get a trophy for? I think it is, isn't it? Holy shit, it jumps very high.
So rightfully so, we unlock the trophy after killing it.
No easy prey. A gold trophy. Defeat a Thanator non-feral. Damn.
Then we find and complete all 12 Sarentu totems.
Vision of the Ancestors. Complete all Sarentu totem interactions. Nice.
Tune all wind flutes.
In harmony. Tune all Aeolian wind flutes. Aeolian.
And unlock an Apex skill, unlocking Peak Performance.
Oh, there we go. Finally, Peak Performance. Unlock an Apex skill.
Then Doll Collector for finding all 9 windswept dolls.
Hey, Doll Collector. Collect all windswept dolls.
Now we move on to Data Retriever, where we have to complete all recon retrievals. For these, we just have to activate a little computer, then activate the 3 towers around them, which should be easy, but most of the time the 3 little towers are very oddly spaced out and hard to find. But finishing this tedious little task, we get Data Retriever. Next, we complete 10 Mushroom Networks, giving us Mushroom Navigator. Then little by little for defeating 10 RDA installations. Next, we follow all Blade Wing trails for Fleet-Footed.
Fleet-Footed. Follow all the Blade Wing moths to their nests.
Now, for probably one of the most annoying trophies here, we go through and take out the massive laser ore processor alpha and go on to destroy every last drill site in Pandora. And destroying them isn't even difficult, but finding them on the map took me the most time. But after a while, we find and destroy the final site where we get Reclaim Pandora.
Yes! Reclaim Pandora. Reach an air quality level of 100%. Jesus, that was ridiculous.
Then with only a few trophies left, we collect all audio logs, notes, and comics for 3 trophies. And now we start the grind for our next trophy, which I completely underestimated time-wise. Because for this, we have to go to most of these small camps in the game, which comes out to about 40 or so small missions. And we have to deliver a specific plant or item to each camp, being different each time. And most of the time, you don't have what you need on you, so you have to go out and search for that specific item, which ends up taking a very long time. But delivering our last item, we unlock one with the clans.
Boom.
Now with 1 trophy remaining, luckily it's very simple this time, so completing part 3 of the Steady Wings quest, we officially unlock King Lore Carer, and most importantly, the Platinum Trophy and finishing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Yeah. Let's go.